Hi and welcome back to another review from IndieGems, where we bring you the latest indie reviews and gameplay videos. Today we are looking at Sumerian 6, a real-time stealth tactics game based around World War II and those evil Nazis.
Geiststoff was the impossible. A hitherto undiscovered resource with near limitless potential. Following the Great War, the military scientist Alistair Sterling assembled a team of brilliant minds to unlock its secrets. His friend, Dr. Hans Kammler, theorized that Geiststoff could generate unlimited clean energy, and thus heal a wounded Europe. But this project was a catastrophe. There could be no question, Geiststoff was far too dangerous. A broken squad disbanded, having all grimly agreed that the world could never know about Geiststoff. All save one. Obsessed and resentful, Kammler found a new patron, one all too willing to exploit Geiststoff, to create the weapon to end all weapons. And so, Kammler assembled his own team to tap Geiststoff's nightmarish power. But he was unaware that one of them was Alistair Sterling's daughter, working with her restive brother to bring down Kammler's wonder weapon program from the inside.
This time they're trying to turn the tide of the war by using ancient artifacts and the supernatural to make an elite squad of soldiers hell-bent on taking over the world. It is your job and your unusual gang of misfits to stop this from happening by sneaking around various sites, eliminating enemies, sabotaging equipment and putting a stop to the Nazis' plans. I'm really enjoying Sumerian 6. I don't think I'm the best at these types of games, having to reduce the difficulty to easy early on in the campaign and still finding it challenging, but I have been impressed with the sheer vastness of some of the levels and the tactical thinking needed to overcome the obstacles. I like to sit back and study the environments, try out some of the more obscure ways of killing foes, like electrocuting them in water, running them over with moving vehicles, or dropping freight on their heads. That is the beauty of this game though, you can approach it in many different ways. There are additional objectives for you to try and aim for, which can make things much harder, like not using certain skills or finishing below a certain time, or not killing certain enemies, or you can forget about them and just try to get through the level and continue the story. Along with the 3 difficulty levels, these extra components can increase difficulty further if you wish. The 6 characters you play with are introduced in stages, and they will change with the story as you progress. They all have different skills to bring to the party, and you can switch between the ones in play whenever you like. Certain situations will require a certain character to solve the problem, and others will have a more experimental feel with a combination of characters used. You will probably have a favourite character in your group, and mine was Rosa Resnick, who could dissolve characters instead of hiding the bodies, incapacitate enemies with a toxic drip, disperse enemies using a poisonous gas, and the most fun of all, attaching bombs to soldiers and detonating them from afar. This was especially satisfying when attached to a soldier doing his round, and then exploding it as he approached a group of soldiers, taking them all out. That never got tired. And deaths come with a comical quip by the character, like "this will hurt a lot" as she dissolves them where they stand. Other characters have cool skills like changing into a mutated bear that can kill enemies that other characters cannot, an electrocution skill that bounces from enemy to enemy, a skill that possesses characters so that you can walk around in their bodies and hop out when you want, a swap mechanic that switches a character's positions, a temporarily invisibility cloak, and a trampoline type gadget that launches enemies into the air. Then there are the usual distraction techniques like whistling or throwing bottles to distract enemies so that you can sneak past them, or if you want to go Rambo, there are various weapons to use, which obviously attracts a lot more attention. I thought the range of skills were varied and interesting and let you approach situations in many different ways. The game is a stealth game in essence, with soldiers posted at various points looking in certain directions, or having patrols moving in a set pattern. Sneaking around can evade the gaze of some enemies, but as soon as you stand up to kill someone, you become visible, and have a certain amount of time before you get discovered. represented by a traffic light system. Sometimes you can just about get in there, eliminate an enemy and get out before the alarms are set off, and other times you just don't make it, and if you are not shot on sight you will need to run away and hide somewhere. Quite often you have to be mindful where your team are situated, because the alerted soldiers will find one of your teammates if they are not sufficiently hidden. In some cases though, I purposely triggered the alarm so that the soldiers came looking for me whilst I waited around a corner to kill them. It doesn't always work, as you can easily get outnumbered, but it is another example of how you can approach things from different angles. The characters can obtain upgrades to their skills and health by locating crates which are shown on the minimap along with your teammates and enemies' locations amongst other things. I did find that when switching characters though, it wasn't always obvious where they were and you had to go looking for them. It would be nice if when switching the game took you to the character you selected. I got killed quite a lot when soldiers were on high alert because I moved the wrong character out of the hiding by accident, and taking you to the correct character would have solved this. Enemies get more advanced as you continue, and the Nazis unleash more twisted experimental foes that can use their supernatural abilities to teleport or become invincible, apart from an Achilles heel you need to take advantage of. For example, the Geist has a tether which you must break, which makes them temporarily vulnerable for attack. This means you will need one character to turn off the tether, and because you only have a few seconds to act, another character needs to kill him quickly. There is an option to plan attacks by using the action planner, which allows more than one character to attack at the same time. Useful for taking out a couple of guards simultaneously, or using one character to distract a guard whilst the other one sneaks up and kills him. There's lots of things to think about, like planning the best route or where you can retreat to if things go wrong. At the start of each level you are given a debrief of the situation and offered some alternative routes to take, but ultimately it's up to you how you approach the mission and whether you want to try and obtain some of the secondary objectives.
We have to get inside the castle walls. On my way here, I crawled through a shaft in the wall. But I don't think it's wide enough for you.
Are you calling me fat? I'll just climb the vines and meet you on the other side.
I'm afraid the inner walls won't be as easy to get through. The gates can only be opened from within. So we'll have to take the scenic route.
Lovely. A guided tour of the Nazi castle.
Oh, I know a landmark you'll enjoy in particular. The ammunition depot.
That does sound like a worthwhile detour.
Definitely. We'll need all the help we can get to reach our next stop. Kammler's study is constantly under guard. So far, I haven't figured out the goal of his Geiststoff experiments. But I know the answers are in that room. And in the inner courtyard. I've caught glimpses of a strange machine he's been working on. But only from afar. I have no idea what it does.
We'll find out. This is our chance to show Dad what we can really do, together.
Fine. Together.
The levels are very large. One level took me 3 hours to complete. There are regular autosaves and the option to manually save whenever you want to, so it is easy to dip in and out of. If one of your team perishes, you will start again from where you died, although this can throw you in the thick of things sometimes, but if you find you are continually getting killed because of this, you can easily access another save. I love the mixture of supernatural and Indiana Jones type archaeology, with the Nazis trying to turn the tide of the war through abominable experiments on creatures and soldiers. There are some nice cutscenes after each level furthering the story, and the voice acting is very good when they are acting out of the story or talking whilst in the game.
Fascinating. It looks authentic. But that would mean lots of references to a city called Geiststoff. That's a new one for me.
I'm sure he didn't get those calculations from the clay tablet, or a Geiststoff one.
You should know that the Assyro-Babylonian mathematics were actually incredibly advanced for its... Wait, that's the device from the courtyard, isn't it?
Yep, let's go. Maybe Dad will go easy on me if we figure out how it works.
But I need to examine the...
Come on. You were so worried about blowing your cover, remember?
The maps look great with imaginative scenery and well-drawn objects, and although there are a few niggles with the controls, like having difficulty getting onto ladders sometimes, or picking up dead bodies lying near ladders by mistake, I found it very easy to navigate my gang around the different areas with a controller. In conclusion, Sumerian 6 is an enjoyable real-time stealth tactics game with an interesting story and a decent amount of variation when dealing with situations. The game felt very polished with excellent voice acting and attractive environments with easy to control characters and exciting and nail-biting moments. If you are new to the genre, it is really easy to pick up, but it is quite difficult to master and does take a bit of thinking to successfully navigate. The difficulty option should cater for all skill levels though. I would definitely recommend this for fans of the genre or new people looking to try out a decent stealth game. Okay, that's all for the review today. I hope you enjoyed it. We would really appreciate a like, and if you would like to see more reviews, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks, and see you later.
The demon's baneful presence was wiped from the earth, yet his cursed bones did litter the land. Gilgamesh commanded those who had lost all to keep safe the bones of Humbaba. And so, the sons and daughters of Geiststoff did spread across the land.